Hello everybody and welcome to another True North Disc Golf production. Today we're joined to check out the lead card of the Ontario Disc Golf Championships. And boy am I stoked today. We've got a special guest all the way from California. Anybody want to guess who that is? Why don't you say what's up, my friend?
What's happening, everybody? This is Philo Brathwaite.
How's it going, man? Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here with you. Thanks for inviting me on.
Oh, you're welcome, man. I know you're a big fan of Canadian golf, and we're so fortunate to have somebody like you on. So, yeah, man, let's do it.
Awesome, man. I'm stoked.
Cool. All right. Well, we're going to check out the lead card of the MPO. We've got some great action up today. We've got some wonderful sponsors, too. We've been supporting them all year long. So look at that. I love this picture of you. It's one of my favorites. Tell us about that hat.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm now part owner of the Boom brand. Josh Barnhill out in Dayton, Ohio, and myself have teamed up. He's been off the grid for about 18 months, but that was my custom Philo hat from the Boom brand, coming on strong again in 2021.
That's awesome, man. Well, we'll have a few opportunities during the show today to check out some of your other projects you got going on there. We'll talk a little bit more about Team Philo, maybe down the road. First up, we've got Powerhouse from Canada here, Martin Hendel. He's a good friend of mine, plays out of St. Thomas, and we got lucky enough for him to be part of our sponsor pro team at the time, so that's great. Do you know anything about him at all?
Yeah, I know Martin. We've been on a team Innova for a number of years. I heard he's moving on, I believe, this year, but yeah, I've seen him around a bunch over the years. Seen him play. He's a solid player.
He's very strong. And next up was Chris Ozolins there. We'll learn a little bit more about him as we go. He's the Ontario Disc Golf president there from the ODSA. Big player. Casey Hanemayer, right out from the West Coast from BC, flew all the way into play. And last up, another True North pro. We've got Cam Zanini, up-and-comer, just approaching 1,000 rated now.
Oh, yeah, I remember those days.
He's worked real hard. I think we'll be
It takes a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work to crack that 1,000 player rating barrier.
Oh, for sure. And speaking of, too, I was checking out your rating from last year. You really gained a lot of points this season. Well done.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, man, keep on grinding, keep working.
All right, guys. Well, up first, we've got hole one. It's a par 3, 341 feet. This hole is actually pretty cool because I love the way that John Pytel, he's the owner of the property, kind of situated it right behind the power line.
Nice. No mandatories or anything?
Nothing. Just straight shot, get around, and pray you don't hit any of that metal.
I like holes like this, man, you know. Pick your angle. Nice wide hyzer for the righty backhand. Nice wide angle for the lefty backhand. You can go straight down the middle. That's always fun.
Any angle works. There's John Pytel, good friend of ours there, announcing all the players. Let's see how Marty attacks this. This looks pretty clean.
Absolutely. Just hang out there wide, let the disc drag itself back in, and nice solid finish there. Played the last bank rail, but that'll play. Parked.
Always nice to get a little clip on the metal there and have it land good. Next up, Chris Hawes. He just broke 1,000 recently, and I think he's well on his way to keep going, maybe 1,010, 1,020 next season. Watch the power on this guy.
A lot of arm speed, but kind of blew the angle a little bit. That's kind of one of the things I coach a lot when I'm working with people is matching the arm speed to the distance, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Just flipped up a little bit for him and looked like he just gunned it a little too hard, you know. First hole jitters maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, strong player nonetheless.
Absolutely.
Next up, Casey. This guy's super athletic. And he's got every tool in his toolbox.
Beautiful.
Oh, what a shot.
Not too long. Looks like he's about circle's edge. Should be a makeable putt for his birdie.
Mm-hmm. Finally up, Cam Zanini. That'll work.
I like the shape of that. Beautiful shape.
Big skip.
A little bit short on distance maybe, but good effort.
My big shadow there from the back.
Thank you.
First putt looks like Cam.
It's just outside circle one, it looks like. Step through putt and connect.
Yes.
Go.
Man.
Good way to start the day, huh?
Honestly, we've been filming Cam for a couple of seasons now, and I actually distinctly remember the first round I ever filmed. He was making putts like this over and over again. I couldn't believe the accuracy on the guy, and he's only getting better. Kind of a buried shot here from Oz. Oh, a band shot.
Yeah, great effort from out of the shul there.
Good run.
Nice solid putt to start the day for Casey.
Yeah, I love this guy. This was actually the first event I'd ever met him. I got a chance to talk to him, get to know him a little bit. He's put so much time into his game to get better, and I think he's tied now at the moment with Marty for highest rated Canadian.
Really, they surpassed Thomas Gilbert, or
I think they're both sitting at 1,018 as of today, and I'm not sure where Gilbert's sitting. I think he's only a couple points behind that. 1,016 maybe?
I don't know. Yeah, he's a tremendous talent. I've seen a bunch of him this past season. He was striking them. He's got a great game.
Oh, Gilbert's a blaster. He's a blaster. We've had a chance to film a bit with him since he got back from his tour in the U.S., and he's been a lot of fun. All right. Recap on hole one. We got 3 birdies and a par. Chris Ozolins, huge effort there with a band shot. Just shy of a star card, but that's okay. Moving on to hole 2. Let's see what happens here. So this is number 2, par 3, 392 feet. From this drone flight, you can't quite tell, but the height of these bushes they block your view of the basket, so you're thrown a little blind. And all this rough in behind it, this all plays on the left OB, and the trees on the right are in play.
Nice. Just under 400 feet. Probably looking at fast flying disc. Probably not much of a fairway driver for most of these guys, I would assume.
Let's see what Marty does here.
Taking a real straight disc that kind of rolled over a little bit. Looks like it's perfect.
Look at that.
A little hyzer flip up, stretched it out, rode the right side, and parked it.
Marty spent a lot of time leading up to this event, putting practice in and getting dialed in. And it shows.
Wow.
Look at the power on that.
Great speed for that sidearm for sure. When you're reaching 400 feet, in the neighborhood, that's a ton of speed for sure.
Cam.
There you go. Nice stand-up hyzer there.
Beautiful shot as well, just inside circle 1.
Okay. Are there markers on the ground for circle 1?
I don't believe that they did that on this course. I think that's going to change for next year. There was so much work. They actually built one of these courses in the weeks leading up to this event in order to satisfy all the needs.
Another good effort there with the sidearm. Playing it nice and wide and dragging it back in. Both having nice looks at a putt there.
Another crack from Cam.
Another step. Just didn't quite commit to putting the disc on the chains.
A little low. That's okay. Next up is Casey.
Oh, these guys are a lot closer than it looked like. Oh, hard slash out there. A little bit hair on the left side, maybe.
Let's see how Oz does. Wow, I'm surprised.
A little bit wide on the right.
Let's get these holes cleaned up. There you go.
Formality putts from this distance, right? I mean, pretty much a tap in. Should be pretty stress-free. Martin's going to have a nice tap in birdie.
Excellent. One of the things I'm proud of Marty about too is even in simple putts like that, he definitely takes his time, lines things up, and makes sure he doesn't give anything away.
Yeah, there can be that too much time, though. Talk yourself out of it, so it's a fine line.
I've been there before, that's for sure.
Sure, I'm sure most disc golfers can relate. You get up to a putt and maybe you move too fast and you chain off or slide it out the right side or something, or you go up there and you look at it too long and then you start overthinking the process. It's just best to have a natural rhythm that you kind of stick with, all the time.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Well, finishing up hole 2, we've got 1 birdie out of Marty. That's just capitalizing on a phenomenal drive. And 3 pars, 3 cracks at bat for birdies, and unfortunately couldn't convert in this particular hole. That's okay. Moving into hole 3. So hole 3, par 4, 405 feet. This one's an interesting hole. These kind of farm equipment, if you land inside them, they fall right through the bottom and they actually spit out.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of neat. Hang around the right here.
That's a fun hole.
Yeah. See how these guys approach it.
Got to do a placement shot and approach it to the target.
And there it
That's
is.
cool. Slow right turning rock shot, it looked like for Martin.
See how that spit it out the bottom there?
You actually throw it in there?
Yeah, it landed right inside.
No way. Guess that wasn't the best break, right? I mean, that means he's going to have an awkward lie.
It's definitely a weird shot, and I think that was the only time it happened during the tournament. And I was so surprised because we didn't know what would happen if it landed in it, but there you go.
Huh. Never seen that before.
Let's see what Cam does here.
Nice, wide and high, trying to cut it in tight and make the gap.
Looks like he got buried in that forest. Have to get a better look on the shot. That's the right shot there.
More room to work.
Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that.
Right in the gap, huh?
That's perfect.
Excellent. You shaped that very nicely.
Look at this. Look.
That doesn't look like it at all. I mean,
they're trying to figure out what to do with it.
I would be perplexed myself, my friend. I wouldn't know what to do. I'd probably just throw a little thumber out and around and try to find some kind of...
He's got a strategy. There he goes. And look at the shot. Look how amazing this is.
That's incredible.
Well, I was going to do a thumber. Yeah, and maybe try to...
That, we always say, that's Marty doing Marty things right there.
Got some of the last stuff on the way into the green. Gonna have a long look at his 3.
Yeah, it'll be a tough putt. It's not outside of his talent whatsoever, though. We've seen him make some pretty incredible shots. Cam with a flick.
Trying to chop one up there up the fairway. That's gonna have a putt. That looks not too far at all. 5 or 6 paces off the basket, maybe.
That's not bad. It's funny too because this hole can look a lot worse than you think, even off your drive, right? But these guys have been able to get so close anyway. It doesn't matter. Look at this. Another great shot.
Kind of hard to tell how close he got from the camera angle, but it looked like he was trying to like do a kind of patent pending stance, you know, and shape something into the green area there.
Absolutely. Great layup from Casey. That should make it simple.
Yeah, he's still got some work to do, see?
Let's see if he can find the gap. Oh, a little clip on the tree at the end.
Something right on it. It had a good line on it. Good bid. Just caught something at the end there. Nice strong putt with the speed, but again, just a little shy on the chains and tapping in for his par.
Cam winding up. Jeez.
Those are disappointing when you miss those well inside the circle and just can't connect. Hard chain outs. Those are very frustrating, but you got to shake them off and get to the next one and knock it in, you know?
I've been rooting for Cam all season. Really, I have. Like, I love the guy. I love how much work he's put in. And it's always, for me, it's so painful to see him lose strokes like that he deserves so much better. Here's Marty figuring out what to do in that crazy spot.
Deserves and earning are two different things, my friend.
That's absolutely true. You're 100% right. All right, well, we got a star par round there.
Yeah,
finishing up hole 3.
Tough hole, you know. You got to put a really good placement shot and give yourself a good angle into the green. And it didn't seem like anybody other than Cam who really had the best, you know, look at a 3-putt. You know, everybody was kind of struggling there.
Well, we'll move on to hole 4 here. This is a par 3, very simple hole, just 245 feet, but look at the sheer amount of trees you got to get through.
So you call this the poke and hope hole, huh?
There's a few holes like that in this course where accuracy is well rewarded and extremely punished if you miss.
Well, it looked like there's enough space in the woods there that if you miss your line, you can still get up and down.
Look at this.
Big plinko there off the tree and hanging out in the fern gully.
Next up, Casey. That looked pretty good.
Yeah, it looks like he'll have a putt for his birdie, too. A Sexton Firebird.
That's a popular disc around here.
It's a popular disc around everywhere, apparently.
It's so good.
He came up a little short, got chopped down. Probably about a 45, 50 footer or so.
That's going to be a tough shot. We'll see what happens.
Do you guys normally do your measurements in putts meters up there in Canada?
Well, we started putting the meters on the bottom because we have enough people that ask about it, but the majority of measurements are done in feet. I think I've maybe had somebody ask me for the distance in meters once in an actual game.
More of a long throw in here from Cam.
Oh, and in.
Yeah, he'll get up and down for par from there.
Marty for 2. That's a great shot. He can work with that.
More of a layup, toss and a putt.
Yeah. Casey moves to glasses off mode.
No, he's definitely got a look.
Oh, what
Excellent.
a putt.
Beautiful rhythm. Great action there.
That's a stroke you wanted to pick up for sure.
Absolutely. I really like holes like this where there's a defined line to get to the target and it's a stroke separator. It's not a gimme 250-foot hole. You actually got to put some shape on it and have speed control and hit a specific line. I like holes like that.
Well, you're going to see a lot of different types of holes like this on both the courses. We've got the Innova course, and then we've got the Prodigy course coming up in the next round, and they're both significantly different on how they're tackled. But they both have a ton of wood play inside with technical holes that are sub 300.
Yeah, that's right up my alley. I get to fillet courses with my rock game when that kind of stuff, shows up on the radar. Start licking my
I
chop.
like that word, fillet. That's awesome.
It's my bread and butter of my game, the rock play and really being able to control the angles and speeds, and control the finish of the disc. That's really one of the biggest lessons I learned from my good friend Ken Klima over the years is got to be able to control the finish of the disc.
That's great advice. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, that's one of the most important elements of our sport. It's not so hard to throw the disc and make it go, but can you make it stop where you want, how you want it to?
Well, speaking of fillet as well, check out this hole. Par 4, 402 feet. Look at that.
Yeah, it looks like a really tight line, like it's hard to get there in one and pick up an eagle.
Super, super hard. I don't think anybody did eagle this hole through the event. That's not bad progress.
The initial gap to get through.
So interesting when you see holes like this on tour that are, a short par 4 and guys are really trying to get everything off the drive and end up way off in the woods. And, it's usually smarter just to play the biggest gap and progress the fairway as much as you can without spraying,
Yeah, if you clip those trees and end up wide inside the right or left inside those bushes, you put yourself in so much more risk.
See the pace.
This looks good.
See
this
the pace.
Looks really good.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Martin's just playing the game that he's got, not trying to overthrow the disc, set himself up for an easy birdie opportunity. Maybe even a long throw in for 2.
He might actually have a shot for 2 there. Cam just threads the needle.
It's got to stand up a bit.
A little kick.
I like the action. That wasn't the worst break. I mean, still in the middle of the fairway. He should be able to get up and down from there.
That works fine. I think Oz has still got about 300 feet left on the bone here. Oh, it's not bad. It'll be in range for a putt.
Not being super familiar with this course or the distances or which tree is how far from the basket. I'm just kind of guesstimating how far away these guys look to be. I'm sure he would have liked to see that sneak up there a little tighter, but looks like he's got a wide open, unobstructed putt. So
It's just a beautiful property. They've put so much work into this. They've finished 2 full 18-hole courses now. The provincials for the Ontario Provincial Championships are being held once again this year. And they've groomed the course a lot more.
a long throw. Nice long bid. That'll be a tap in 3 for Martin. Cruising right along here to start this first round.
Oz with a big drive here, trying to work with it.
There you go.
Have a little bit.
Cam looking for his 3. Gets to step
Nice
through.
shot.
Drills it. Beautiful. I wonder if the PDGA is going to change that rule about the jump putting from circle 1 and push it back to circle 2.
I have talked to people about this. I filmed a lot, and from what I can tell, I think that would be a very smart change. The truth is that the talent level of the players today versus where it was when that rule was made is a lot different. And I don't think giving up step putts from the just outside the circle 1 line is a bad idea. I think going right to circle 2 would be a great change.
I think a couple of things have evolved, since the day when that rule was written. One, the technology has changed,
Big time.
from discs that weren't as consistent or as stable for as long to now having discs that, pretty much maintain their integrity for years. Some of them can. And obviously, I think there were definitely athletes on the disc golf scene. Taking another look at that step putt there from Cam, capitalizing on that birdie. But just back in the day, it's not that there weren't athletes in the sport. I just don't think there were as many athletes in the game. You know what I mean? And the guys who are really at the top of the food chain, where you're, a few of them were like straight up athletes. You think of a Ken Climo. I mean, that guy's an all-around athlete. He can do all kinds of things, and
He's a beast. Still is a beast.
there's a bunch that were super athletic and, physically, able to do many different things. But I just feel like there's so many more of us now, you know what I mean? Over the past 5 or 10 years, it's just like doubled and tripled and quadrupled. It feels like, where you look at the field and there's 85, 90 really athletic, young men out here doing it.
Guys couldn't throw anywhere near as far as they can today 20 years ago. The disc technology wasn't there. The techniques wasn't there.
I think the technique was there, but the technology in the disc wasn't,
Mm-hmm.
It's just, you can't make something that's not made to glide, you know what I mean? Like a Firebird's only going to go so far.
Oh,
Look at that run.
what a shot from Marty.
Almost dunks it in there.
Looks like we're going to get a replay of this.
Absolutely. Well deserved, too. Blind shot. Just back of the top.
It almost went in a second time.
Well, I don't think it ever had a chance of actually going in. It was way too high. That saved him an extra 25 feet, and he's got a tap in instead of a putt.
What a shot.
That was awesome. Sit. A little bit hot. He'll have a nice little putt out of the bush there. Doesn't look too far. 8 paces off the target.
Speaking to what we were chatting about, overall, I'm just so proud of the fact that the sport's grown so much, that we have so many more athletes now, so much more innovation in products and disc technology, and it just makes the game more exciting. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing to see rules evolve too, to try to incorporate those changes and make the game more challenging and more fun to watch.
Absolutely.
Great putt out of Cam.
Yep.
He's good at those, hiding inside the bushes and just banking them anyway.
Sometimes it's a little bit easier to putt with the obstacles in your way than when there's nothing in the way. You just have something to miss and your focus gets dialed in on exactly what you need to happen.
I wonder why that is. Is it because you feel like you're not as expected to make the shot, or what is it that helps you?
I think it's just a different focus, like, I don't know. It's really hard to describe. I mean, it's not hard, but I think what I feel when I find myself in that position is like there's especially when there's actually something in the way that makes me shape the swing a little differently than I would normally do, then it's just like you're really dialed into that one motion. And like it can be real easy to forget those details when you're just out in the open, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Just looking at this basket out there in the wide openness, and you're like, oh, I got to get the disc over there. And you're not, some people may not see the line as clearly when there's nothing around, you know?
That's a good point. And also, just cleaning up this particular hole. Look at this star card out of these guys. Great job, everybody.
Absolutely. You got to
good.
get, right? It's pretty much a gimme hole. You got to get that one.
Hey, let me ask you a question. I'm curious about something. If he had
Right on.
made that ace, is that still a star card?
Yeah.
That would be, right?
Technically, yeah, because everybody got better than par. So
Cool. All right.
I would, yeah, that's star plus one.
All right, number 7. So this had a $2,000 bounty on an ace. This is a 439-footer. And that was put up from our pals at Top Link.
Is this playing as a par 4?
This is it's playing as a par 4.
So they're paying $2,000 for the albatross, huh?
That's right. You'd know a thing or two about that, wouldn't you?
No comments, man. No comments. Not talk money when it comes to my albatross.
Cam with a big drive.
Nice wide swooping
This has
high.
got a crack at it. He was running that one.
That looks like 339 feet to me, man. It's getting there so fast.
Mm-hmm. Camera tricks. This big super stable disc just trying to crash in. Oh.
There's no way that's a par 4 and those guys are dropping spike hyzers like that, man.
Mm-hmm.
No way.
Maybe we'll adjust that one for next year.
Yeah, that looks really short, and the disc is getting there really fast. Seems like one of the numbers is off, but yeah, those guys all threw some pretty good looking shots having putts for birdie here, or actually eagle.
Cam for another one of his famous putts. Just binks the chains.
He's accurate, and he's not missing by much when he misses.
Marty with a phenomenal shot.
Yeah, there you go. They're popping up the birdie.
I'm starting to think that this is a par 3, and that's on the screen incorrectly.
I think so. I think it is too. They can adjust that later. I think everybody can tell that they didn't really throw it that far, and they're all putting for pretty short 2s on what says a par 4. So
yeah, it's definitely a par 3. A couple of nice birdies there.
absolutely. Cam making sure that one sticks in there.
Cam cleans up his par. Finally, Casey for the same thing here. Beautiful. Unfortunately, no winners of that $2,000 on this one, but I think he's going to be running that all season through 2021 too. He keeps finding, this is at Top Links, they keep finding different holes and courses, and then they put the money up, and it just keeps growing.
It's been a long time since I've hit a big ace pot like that. Maybe I need to take a trip.
Come on out. We'd love to have you come play.
What?
All right, hole 7's up there. Marty's holding the lead at -5. Casey Hanemayer right behind at -4, and the remaining 2 players at -3. Number 8, par 3, 175 feet. It's kind of an interesting shot. Let's see here. So we come around right through the center here.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
The protected canopy there on the way in. So you
Yeah.
come in these thick branches, you could probably come in with a little bit of air on it, and there you go. Put it up there and try to crash through, and a little bit strong. Overheated it there, did Martin, and you have a long putt coming back. Not too long, but I'm sure longer than he would like. That looks about.
See if these other guys make adjustments. That looks better.
Fading out a little bit, but sits down nicely. Looks about 5 paces off the target.
And that hill kind of sticking up on the left, it's a great opportunity to try to crash into that. This looks great.
Not bad.
Shot there from Casey.
Right in the neighborhood. There you go. Pushes it out a little bit wider, giving it a chance. There you go. Beautiful. That's how I like to see my disc. I like to watch it finish at the basket. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Something I really train hard on.
Yeah, you were speaking about that before. Wow, what a shot from Martin.
Great putt from Martin.
Yeah, you were speaking about that before, about how important it is to be able to control your disc landing.
Absolutely. That's the nature of the game, you know, and the more you focus on watching the disc finish at the target, you know, the better you feel walking up to it, even if it comes up a bit short. You know, it finishes on the line of the basket, and it just feels better than watching it flare out to the left to me.
Mm-hmm. So just an incredible thing when you can learn to not only throw as accurate, but also be able to control its landing where you want it.
Yeah, it just takes practice, you know. I did a lot of field work early on in my career that really set the foundation for my game, you know, and taking another look at that nice putt out of the bush from Martin there, stretching his lead out again, or actually maintaining star card again.
Beautiful game here. Sitting at -6 for Marty. Casey right on his tail, one stroke behind at -5, and Oz and Cam are sitting there 4 down, just 2 strokes back for the leader.
Sure, those guys were hoping that he'd miss one and they could gain a stroke on him, all of them, but Martin slammed that in there and closed the door on those hopes.
Yeah, Marty definitely doesn't give up strokes easily. Right,
he's a great all-around player. I mean, if you're maintaining high 10 teens, you know, low 10 20s, I mean, you're putting up solid numbers on a consistent basis. You know, I don't think that it's the hardest to get to those numbers to the mid-teens, but it's hard to stay there. You know what I mean? It's hard to stay there and improve, because that means then you're throwing 10-30, 10-35 rounds all the time.
Martin is one of those guys that just puts in a ton of work in his game. He's practicing all the time.
Doesn't quite make it out the gap there. He'll have some work trying to find him.
So this is a par 4, number 9, just 365 feet, but you have this really cool gap here you've got to try to make to get through. How would you attack this hole?
Yeah, it seems like they're sliding their swing a little bit too much. Basically, the tree that's defining the left side of the fairway off the tee pad, I'd be aiming right at that thing, basically, and just the timing of those swings are so finite because you know that you don't want to yank on the disc, but you got to pull a straight line and then throw something very neutral that's not going to stand up and slide right. So there's a lot of it. It's a tough shot to pull off. I like that. If I had the flick play and I had confidence in it, I definitely would rather do that. There's just so much room.
Look at this.
Exactly, just drag. That was ideal in the thought process, and the execution was probably barely off. There's some late trees he's got to miss, but that play just looks so much safer.
It looked so good. I think he clipped a tree just there at the end and hooked right.
These guys are punching out, trying to save get a look at a 3, and he's right there. He's about, 6 paces off the bucket? Yeah, he's not too bad.
Yeah, he should be okay from that spot. Let's see what Casey does here.
Nice control. One last tree. He had fine. I like the rhythm and the pace of that throw. It just hung out there on him just a hair too long. Long bid, get up and down for his 4. This is the long, obstructed look for his 2.
I think that's the smart play. Great shot.
I want to get greedy so bad.
Yeah, you don't really need to force the issue when everybody else is struggling to make 3.
Takes all the risk out, too.
Yeah, it's just sometimes you don't have to be greedy it's not always necessary to go for everything. Still early in the tournament. Of course, just gave you an opportunity there's a great putt from Chris.
Fantastic putt.
Nice. Good rhythm, right dead center chains. Little wave to the gallery.
Yeah, this was Oz's big season here, or his big kind of breakout year. He's put so much time into, the old cliche of growing the sport, but he really does. He puts a ton of work into helping get events sanctioned and putting golf courses in the ground and promotion, helping beginners learn. He's done so much of that, and
that'll pay off dividends as he goes on in his career. I mean, it's really important to try to offer more to the sport than just the player.
Mm-hmm. And this was his year where he really put some time into his own play as well, and we're all proud of the guy. I mean, we're always excited because in Canada there's not a lot of players that break the 1,000 barrier. So when we see that, it's a big deal for us to cheer them on and keep them going.
Solid play so far through 9 holes for these guys. Martin's out front with a 2-stroke lead over Chris and Casey, and Ham's not too far behind. He's holding his own.
Look at this. 4 boards full of black and green. That's the way you want it.
Yep, no red. No, don't give any back.
Martin puts up a fantastic final 5 holes. Chris Oz not far behind him. Cam and Casey doing great. 321s and a 19 on a par 26 for the front 9. Great job, guys.
Absolutely. Good shooting.
All right. Well, I always do a little bit of a shameless plug here, but I'd love to, instead of talking about the shop, if you could tell us a little bit about your new website and what's coming up with it.
Well, it's not so much that it's a new website. I've had the Team Philo website for a while. Over the last couple of years, it was really more just for scheduling lessons and clinics and stuff like that, and just a way for people to get in touch with me. But we're going to really broaden it out this year and incorporate more of the whole portfolio of what I'm doing, and hopefully get an online store going really soon.
That's fantastic. Well, guys, there you have it. Thank you so much for watching the program for the front 9, and we'll be back very shortly with the next 9 holes. And thanks again, Philo, for joining us. It's so exciting to have you here.
Awesome, man. It's been fun so far. Can't wait to get through this tournament with you.
Awesome, man. All right, guys, let's move on to the next chunk of action. See you soon.